Okay, we are back. Restarted the system. Had a outdated plugin. It's always really good to keep your plugins updated because when you do a DAW update, sometimes there's some incompatibility and a computer crash will happen out of nowhere. So make sure you keep your plugins updated. So yeah, I updated this. Tone X plugin here where I'm using the Hyde Street amp package and I'm using the Milk Dude here, clean. Oh yeah, it's a 210 combo, just like I mentioned before. Yeah, the Milkman. Love it. I'm going to put a star on that because I love that sound. But let's hear it before and after on that. I'll just give you a couple bars before and then we'll hear it with and without. So I'll put this up on the screen and then you'll see me hit the bypass button up here. Let's hear it without. Like it with a little more grit. And that's just for the solo. The rest of the guitars are going to be clean like this, which I think is great. I'm using this other SSL plugin on this one. Didn't really do anything to it yet. I may use the CLA one here, just because I like what he does, and I can add this little mic gain clipping here. But let's just have some fun with that. Oh, that is off for some reason. Okay, got that back on. Of course, that turns it up a little bit, so I'm going to turn the output down a little. Top in. Not sure if I like the fast attack. I'm going to leave that off. Okay, cool. Let's see what that sounds like in the mix. Let me go back to my edit window here and turn off the solo. See what that sounds like back here. See what happens if I add some of my effects here. Just adding a little bit of room. Let's see if I add a little stereo widening here. Yeah, I think so. This is another kind of chorusing thing. That sounds fun. Anything to just get the tracks just to kind of pop out of the mix, so it's a little more three-dimensional sounding. Sorry, just tweaking the bass a little bit. Let's go back to the top here and get some reference here. Overdrive my bus a little bit. I'm going to turn that down a little. Kind of want the meters to hit, you know, just before the red. Next, my EQ. Bus compressor. Dropped a little bit. Let's make sure that we're see a maximizer here. It's hitting pretty good. I'm also going to check my waves WLM meter here. Ooh, still hitting -9. Yep, so our levels are good. That solo's loud. Let's go back to that, make sure we got the solo right. You know, it almost seems like the solo continues on here, so I'm going to drag that down to the solo track here. He'll separate that, make it all one. So let's see what it sounds like if we keep it all on this track. All right, sounds like everything's just fading out like it normally should. Let's try that again from the top, see what we got here. We're getting there, we're getting close. It takes time to build a mix. Okay, so some of those guitars are a little loud, so maybe we're going to automate some of those or clip gain them like I like to do. It's on that kind of pre-chorus bit. Wait, was it here? I think it was here. Yeah, it's kind of louder than the vocals are in the chorus, and that doesn't work. So first I'm going to try just turning the volume down on it here. I'll just use my floating mixer here. This getting cut off here. That's the downfall of using the strip silence. So I'm gonna just cut that and try to fade that in myself. Oh yeah, we cut off the no. It's not skin on your soul, it's no skin on your soul. So let's put that no back in there. Do a little fade out on that. You know, as the mix starts to get kind of refined, you start kind of hearing little things here. It gets clearer and clearer, the things you didn't notice that were getting clouded over. So let's make sure that's heard, because I got quite a bit of compression going on in these vocals to bring out all the nuance of what Kevin's singing about and his emotion in his vocal. You want to feel his vocal like you want to feel the mix. Yeah, let's check this, make sure we're not chopping off anything here. Pull that back a little bit. You know, if the breaths are too much, we'll deal with that. But let's just check this chorus really quick. Try that again. This is what I got on the bus of all the vocals, so it kind of helps glue them together, but it was also kind of holding them down too much, so put this back. check out that solo again. Well, the other thing I forgot to turn on my guitar bus was this plugin up here called the Shred Spread. And this kind of gives a little bit of stereo widening. I have it set at 106% on that, and then it's got this shred knob here, which kind of makes the guitars a little more smoother sounding, which is really cool. Makes them a little more beefier. So let's go to that solo again. Let me switch screens, and let's check out that guitar solo. Where is that? Let's go to the guitars. Right here. It was a little loud, so let's bring him back. Hearing some noise at the end of the track there. I can't figure out where that's coming from. I think it's right around here. Maybe the last hit. Let's see if it's in the guitars. Oh, that sounds good. Percussion track? Oh, maybe it's his beatbox track. Nope. Oh, it might be something in the drum tracks. It's right around here. Just mute the drums. The bass. I think it's in the vocals. I see something happen in the vocal tracks. Let's see what's going on there. Oh yeah, it's something in here. Let's solo that up. Yeah, it's probably Kevin because he's recording himself. He's probably reaching over and hitting the space bar to hit stop. So that's why we got to mute out all this little stuff, because it'll come back to bite you. And then if I didn't notice that and I sent it off to mastering and then they turn it up even louder, I'd get a call from my mastering guy. Dude, you got to clean up the end of this song here. There's some stuff that I can't get rid of. You got to get it. It's in the mix. So I'm just going to sew up these vocals here and let's see if we hear anything in between. I was sewing these up at one point and I thought I remember hearing a car horn in the background. So it's just what happens when you record at home, man. You have no control over that. We are the sum of our souls tonight. Yeah, we should probably do a fade in on that. So we are the sum of our souls tonight. Oh. Yeah, I hear some stuff in there. Of course, we're soloing this and no one's going to hear it soloed, but as I keep listening to the song and refining it and getting the EQ right, yeah, little things start coming out. So let's make sure we get rid of that. And I got my delays on there. I think Kevin's vocals are dry on these. We are the sum of our souls tonight. Yep, there's some more stuff there. Just need to make sure there's a little bit of a breath here. Make sure we don't cut off the no. I'm just going to do a really quick fade there. Maybe we could go a little longer. Okay, stop scrolling. Okay, so let's pull that out. We are the sum of our souls tonight. Oh yeah, all kinds of noise in there. You have so much compression going on in EQ, maximizers and limiters. Not just on the vocal chain itself. In here, I've got, the Curves AQ's doing its thing, Mix Hub's doing its, the Silk Vocals doing stuff. The 1176 is definitely pulling stuff up. Don't know what I'm doing on the Shep's channel. Yeah, a little compression there, a little harmonic, and then the MV2 is pushing things up from the bottom here in the low level. It's making it so you can hear all those vocals through this dense mix. And then it's going through this compressor with all the vocals. And then I got my Soothe on. That plugin is just taming harshness. It's any sibilants or harsh frequencies that come out in the vocals, that just knows where it is and it just pushes it down. So we've got that pretty much set it and forget it on that. So I think we got all those cleaned up. Maybe we need to look at this other vocal here and make sure all those are clean. Those look pretty clean, like we cleaned them up. See if there's anything in between. We'll keep that in solo mode and see what we hear.
I ain't listening low, cause you get me high when I'm sinking down low. There's no skin on your soul. There's no skin on your soul.
Awesome. How about this solo vocal here?
There's no skin on your soul.
I don't know if I want to hear his mouth open.
There's no skin on your soul.
Got to get that no in there.
There's no skin on your soul. There's no skin on your soul. There's no skin on your soul. Your soul. No skin on your soul, soul, soul.
Oh, yeah, there's some noise at the end of that. Let's get rid of that. Gotta clean that all up. Let's do a quick fade in there. Hopefully I don't miss any words. Let's hear it.
We are the sum of our souls tonight.
Yeah, something getting clipped off there. A breath or something.
We are.
Yeah, that might be on his recording. I'm not going to be able to do anything about that. Might be better to just make a tighter fade here.
We are
there we go.
The sum of our souls tonight.
Okay, I think that's going to work just fine in the mix. Let's just listen from that verse out. Take the solo off here in the mix.
We are the sum of our souls tonight. We are the sum of our souls tonight.
I was like, do we have some instruments muted? Because that was like a whole different remix there. Beatbox remix. Let's put all the instruments in.
We are the sum of our souls tonight. We are the sum of our souls tonight. We are the sum of our souls tonight.
Solo again.
We are the sum of our souls tonight.
Attack up.
We are the sum of our souls tonight. We are the sum of our souls. We are the sum of our souls tonight. We are the sum of our souls tonight.
Might engage this compressor just to get a little pre-compression before it goes into the amp. Maybe put that on fast attack. We'll just do like a 2-to-1 ratio in fast release. I'm just going to go ahead and like fade all these instruments out here. And maybe the bass. I'm hearing a little hum in there. That could be from that. See what our drums are doing here. Oh, there's a little hum something in there. But I don't think we're going to hear it in the mix. Sound pretty awesome. Let's give it one more mix. Listen. Give the mix another listen. And then we might be pretty close here to a lot of times when I'm kind of like, I don't know what else to do. Everything's sounding good. It's like I got to get some feedback from the client. I got to have, Kevin put his ears on this. I got to have Chris put his ears on this because he's kind of the producer of this. And just see what they think and see what the feedback is. It's pretty rare that I send out a mix one, like the first version of the mix, and I don't get some feedback. It usually is only a couple back and forths. It's like, turn this up, turn that down, push this back, push this there. Sometimes there's some timing things that they wish they would have done a little differently. But most of the time, it's usually pretty simple tweaks to do. And kind of Kevin's already kind of done all his parts and kind of mixed it as he went, and so I'm just kind of enhancing what he did. And then I do what I do to Chris's drums to make him sound like a rock star that he is. So yeah, let's give this a listen, and then I think I'm ready to print a mix and send it to the client. But one more listen through.
Shaking my soul, staying true to you.
Okay, cool. Let me show you quickly how I print my mixes here. So the way I've got it set up is here. I've got all my buses. So each bank is each instrument. So I got my drums, my bass, my percussion, my guitars, my keys. Those are all going output mix bus here. And those all feed this channel here, which is the main mix bus here. I can show you that there is extra inserts there. So I've got 7 plugins on the output here. The first one, I may have gone over this, is a one from Waves called NLS, which is a nonlinear summing mixer kind of a thing. So this gives it the emulation that it's going through a SSL console. Then I go through a little EQ here, and then it hits this SSL style compressor, giving it a little bit of squish and glue. Actually, then it usually goes into another compressor, and somehow I missed that. Now I'm wondering, maybe that's the sound that I'm missing that I wanted. I've got my setting. Let's see if it's in here. This is a slate one. I think we pulled it off for tracking because it was causing a little more latency. But it's usually in my preset, my mix template. It is the VBC rack. And let's see if I've got my preset here, because that would be much easier if I did. Oh, there we go. Mix bus 2022 or mix start. See which one of these is. Well, that's everything off. It's mix start. It's just that one. Got some settings from other mixes I've done. I'm going to try mix bus start. And I think I usually have it on this one. And then, yeah, this one's at 50%. So this kind of looks like my settings here. And I don't use this top one. It's an emulation of a SSL bus compressor. And I already have that right above it here. I like that one better. So I'm just going to listen to this real quick. I can't confirm that that's the right one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import this, import session data. We're just going to import another one because I don't want to change my settings. So here is one setting here. Here's mix bus. So we're just going to make a new one, and I'm just going to pull that one from that track there. There's mix bus 2, and so it's right here. I'm just going to pull that up and replace that, and then I'm just going to delete that. Boom. Bye-bye. And then these are my settings. So I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. It could have been the same thing, but I've kind of tweaked it over the years, so. Might be getting a little hotter. Let's, yeah, it definitely gets loud at the end of the song there. Let's go from maybe the solo here, and I'm going to check my NLS, my Waves volume meter here and see if I'm in the right area. I'm going to cover my picture for a second here and open up FGX. Make sure my levels are good. the long term is what we were looking for here. So that one says -9, and that's my target there. Short term is, it ebbs and flows as long as the long term, which I don't know what the time frame is on that, but I just look for that. No, that's my setting because I don't want to do a mix here and then I actually take that off before I send it to mastering so that the mastering engineer has something to work with. But I don't want the mastering engineers, I don't want the mastered version to be quieter than the mix I did because then the band will complain and go, well, how come Jamie's mix was louder than the mastered mix? Because I messed up and I squished all the life out of it. So I watch for that and make sure that I keep that in check and that it is pretty close to release of what it's going to sound like when it's on the streaming platforms, and pretty close to mastering. Mastering will get it just a hair louder, and that sometimes that's just EQ and compression, just bringing things out forward a little bit more. Yeah, they're magicians, those mastering engineers. So I totally respect them. So anyway, so now that everything feeds that, and then that it now feeds this audio channel here, and I'm going to relabel this because the preset I have is going to copy this name into the audio file. So no skin on your soul, and I always call it JD Mix 1. Okay, so when I do that, let me see here. Yeah, there's some audio before that. Maybe it starts here. Let's see what those keys are doing here. I've got to kind of clean up some stuff here. I'm going to move this marker back here. That sounds about right. Okay, cool. So let me go back to my mastering thing here. And that's where it's going to start. And then the end is here. I'm going to hold shift and select that. So what this does is when I have this, I'm going to have a list of mixes in here. And why I do this is because when I do mix 2, actually that reminds me, I'm going to actually save the session name as JD Mix 1 now. That way I have a way of comparing it, and then I have this input button. So when there's a mix printed there, I can A/B it and say, well, I like what you did on mix 1 on this part. If we're on like mix 3 or something, and I have to reference back to what that sounded like, then I can flip that, and I just hit this input button, and it reverses it back, so I can hear the differences between my different mixes. So it's kind of just a reference that I can easily A/B and hear the last mix I did. So I highly recommend setting up your mix this way. Okay, so now with my handy little Raven buttons here at the bottom, I have a button that says bounce to disk, but that's also in the drop-down menu somewhere. Maybe it's file. There it is. Bounce mix. So that's essentially what this button down here does, except for it brings this up, and then I check my presets here. I've made some presets, and I know this is 24-bit 48K. So I'm going to pick that version of it, and then that changes my routing to go out the print bus is what I'm going to capture, not the main outputs, but the print bus is what I'm going to capture is out of the mix bus. And then it is 24-bit 48K, and then I want to import it after bounce, and I want that to go to my bounce files folder so it stays organized. And then I'm going to do offline bouncing, and we're going to hit OK, and it's going to do its thing. And the reason I do offline bouncing is because I don't want to necessarily hear it again, because I'll probably hit stop and have to fix something. It's just like it's time to just walk away, or some people say pencils down, and it's it's over, like time's up. It's best just to get some feedback from the artist or the producer, and I'll always have a chance to kind of tweak it again too. But let them make all their notes, and then I'll fix all that stuff in mix 2. And then I've also A/B'd the bounce to disk versus the real-time bounce. And it is pretty much the same thing. The thing that's the variable is, I believe, the time-based effects, because they are random and they are always changing, and we want that in the mix. So it's you can't really compare apples to apples. Like I've done it both ways, and they both sound good. There's no degradation in the audio. Um, so this just happens a little faster. This is kind of the time where I'll get up and go get a drink or a snack or something, and then come back. But I'm going to stay here and talk to you for another few seconds. We're halfway done. It's processing at 1.6 times the track, so about 1.5 times. So it's going a little bit faster. It just really depends how many plugins you have and how much processing it has to do and how fast your computer is. This is on a Mac Studio. I think it's the Max. Yeah, it's the M2 Max chip, 32 gigs of RAM. Seems totally fast enough to do what I need to do for mixing. And I'm usually working at 48K. Once in a while, I'll do 96K sessions, and it still holds up just fine on that. But to be compatible with the rest of the world, a lot of times you're sending, uh, stems out to people, and everybody's pretty much working at 48K. So I try to stay on the same thing as that. And you kind of dense rocks mixes, like 48K works fine. If I'm doing some acoustic soft thing, then I might do it at 96K. I believe when I did Sammy Hagar's record that hit the Billboard charts, not that this had anything to do with that, I believe I recorded that all at 2496K because I could. I had a pretty fast system at his studio. And yeah, I mixed it there at his studio as well, um, on a Raven that I had him buy that we're using here. Okay, so now it's going to say import options. I'm going to say new track and selection because I didn't start at the top and I want this to sync back. So I'm going to say, okay, it's going to go down there. I have a button down here that says move up, delete, and the pink button. So that's just going to copy it and drag it to the top and delete that file at the bottom. So it's just some key commands that are all kind of going in a sequence. They called batch commands. So now I've got my mix here, and if I want, I can do the input button and the output button here, and that'll play the live mix versus the recorded track. So we'll just check that really quick.
Shaking my soul, staying true to you. Slow ride. Oh.
Sounds the same to me. There's a little bit of latency going back and forth because of all the plugins and the real-time audio that's playing back as the audio file. So that's the little skip in the audio, but it's yeah, it's all the same. It's sounding great to me. So I'm ready to send this off to client. So the other step is this is a 24-bit 48K file that's living in my session. So I need to send that out as a file format that they can listen to. I never do MP3s. I don't send MP3s out unless they absolutely request it because they have to email it or whatever to people. But it degrades the audio and I don't like it. And also another good point to know is that when you send that out and say somebody wants to do an overdub to it, it adds a few milliseconds of silence on the beginning of the audio file. So you can only imagine if people overdubbed on that and then converted it to MP3 and sent it to the next person, you would just get this latency of audio. It would be back and back and back. And then people would say like, why are you singing so far back on the beat? It's like, you're like way off. So that's why you just stay as WAV files, even if I put it down to a 44 16-bit WAV, which is my preferred format, which is the old CD format. So I have a button down here. I just hit that, and it knows to do that. And then I just hold my option command and go up. And let me see here. Do I have a folder in here? I don't. So what I like to do is create a new folder. And just so I can visually see this, I do bullet, and then I do 16-bit mixes, and then another couple bullets. And then I know from a glance that that's it. So I'm going to hit OK and hit enter again, and that's going to export it to that folder. And then I use a service online streaming service called Samply. So I bring that up here, and I probably need to create a new client. Um, these are all the past clients. I don't think there is a drum habit one, but there might be. Um, but I may just put this as the artist since that's who it is and that's who's going to get the mix. So we'll just create a new client here. If you want to see how Samply works, it's a beautiful app. It also works on the web, which is great too. So I can just send somebody a link. So am I covering it up here? Oh, I am here. It's behind my window. So I'm going to go new. Okay, this project name is Kevin Shima. I need to verify that that is actually the spelling of his name. I'm going to check on my other computer. It is Shima. Okay, cool. And then we'll just create that project. And I can add tracks. What I usually like to do is just drag and drop it in there. But let's close Pro Tools. And we're going to save that. And we'll go to our folder here. Here's that folder that I created. And I'm just going to drag and drop that into here. And boom, it gets uploaded there. Uploading started. Only takes a few seconds to upload here. The cool thing about this is that people can put notes on the timeline. I can show you other artists where I've put stuff up and they put notes in here. And then you can also step back to other versions of the mix. Let me see here. This guy had quite a few notes. This one had 32 notes, so you can see where he's got all these notes here, and they're all marked on the timeline. So I can go to these notes or click on these notes, and they'll highlight up here where they are. And so I can listen or look on my timeline because it's the same timeline in Pro Tools, so I can see where 12 seconds clean guitar can come down a bit here. So that helps on the notes. So that's why I love this Samply app. Let's go back to the library and look at Kevin Shima. So he's got his track here. So now all I have to do is just do share. And that link is copied. And I can now go to an email and just paste that in there. I think there's some other ways of adding to. I think you hit the share button. And I can do that. I think I can send an email out of here or put emails in here. I have a bunch of clients up in here. These are all existing clients that I work with. But I'm probably just going to do a normal email, and then I'll just let you all go. And that's how we do a mix, or how I do a mix. So if you're interested, there will be links somewhere where you can contact me, or you can go to JamesonDurr.com and contact me that way, spelled JaimesonDurr, and find me there and reach out and can do a mix. Or if you want Chris to play drums on some stuff, you can still reach out to me there, and we'll do remote drum tracking. We could probably even do a Zoom session where you could chime in and say what you want. Or if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, come on down to Hyde Street Studios at Wally's Hydeout and do a track with us, and we can make it sound amazing. All right, signing off. Have a good one.